All right, welcome to session 2 of module 3, unit 7. We're going to explore multiplying by powers of 10. Remember yesterday we were just moving our decimal to the left and to the right? It's going to be the same thing, right? Problems and investigations, you're going to need your student book, pages 280 and 81, and pages 282. For your daily practice, you will finish page 282 and do your home connections pages 145 and 146. Let's get to work. Yesterday you had some homework. I believe that was page 279. Go ahead and look at the answers. Make sure that you have filled in the correct answers and make the necessary changes that you need to make. And you're contacting the teacher if you have any questions. All right, welcome back. Today what we're going to do is multiplying by powers of 10. So in your notebooks, I want you to pause the video and I want you to answer each one of these questions. What is 1/2 times 10? Okay. What is 0.5 times 10? What is 1/4 times 10? What is 0.25 times 10? And what is 0.75 times 10? What did you notice? All right, welcome back. Well, thanks. If I took half of 10, what is my answer? Right, it's 5. But if I multiply if I multiply 0.5 by my power of 10, I'm moving my decimal one spot to the left. So I'm taking this decimal and I'm going to move it over one spot. And that gives me what? 5. And wouldn't that make sense, right? Wouldn't 0.5 be the same as 1/2? Interesting. All right, so now what if I take a quarter and if I divide 10 by a quarter? I'm going to get 10/4, right? Or 2, oops, I have the equal sign, or 2 and 5/10. Nope, 2 and 2/4, or 2.5, right? Because 2.4 is the same as, or 2/4 is the same as a half, and a half it as a decimal is 0.5. So now let's take a look at this. What if I multiply 2.25 times 10? Or if I have 25 cents and I have 10 quarters, how much do I have? I have $2.50, right? Same. 1/4 is the same as 0.25. So what did you notice? I multiplied by 10 and all I did was move my decimal point one spot to the right. So how am I going to figure out 0.75? Well, hopefully you already figured that out. If I have 75 cents and I multiply that, and if I have a 10 75 cents, is there a 75-cent piece? I don't believe there's a 75-cent piece. But if there were a 75-cent piece, I bet you it'd be bigger than a 50-cent piece and smaller than a silver dollar. Anyway, that's for another discussion. And I would need 7.5 because I've moved the decimal point over one spot to the right, right? All right, so I just have to, I can get rid of all those answers later. All right, so let's take a look at pages 280 and 282. We're going to be multiplying by powers of 10. So this first one says the post office is selling 1-cent stamps. I don't know why you sell 1-cent stamps, but maybe you need another cent because you bought 45-cent stamps and then all of a sudden they changed stamps to 46 cents, right? So the stamp sells them for a penny each. So we have to figure out the cost of each one of these stamps. So in your books, let's make sure we are all on the same page, right? Let me increase the size here and decrease the size here. All right, so what are we doing? Well, look at the pattern, right? I'm multiplying 2 times 0.01. 0.01 is the decimal for a penny, right? So if I multiply 1 times 0.01, I get 1. So 1 is 1 cent. I'm multiplying 1 times 1/100th, and I'm getting 1/100th, or 1 penny, and I have that. Again, if I multiply 2 stamps by 1 cent, or 1/100th, I get 2/100ths, or 2 cents. What if I do 10? I have to follow the same pattern. 0.01. And if I have 10 pennies, how much do I have? I have 0.10. No, that says 1.10, 0.10, right? All right, no comments in the YouTube video for me making mistakes because Mr. Keller makes a lot of mistakes. All right, and how is that going to look as a fraction? Well, I'm going to multiply 10 times the 1/100th, and I'm going to get 10 100ths, right? So what does that look like in money? And money talks. Money, money, money. And there we go. It's 10 cents. All right. How about 20 cents? Well, 20 in my mind will probably be just double what my 10 was. So if I have 0.0, 0.1, I probably will have 0.20 or 2/10, which would mean that I had 10 times, nope, it was 20. 20 times 1/100th, which would equal 20 hundredths, or 2 dimes, or 20 cents, right? So go ahead and figure that out for 45 stamps and 321 stamps and 404 stamps. And what do you notice when you multiply by 0.01? Go ahead and fill in that answer and come on back to the video when you're done. All right, so what I noticed when I'm multiplying by 0.01, I am moving my decimal point. So I get to move the decimal. Which direction? To the right or to the left? Well, I have the 1 here, and I'm multiplying it by 0.01, and I get this as my answer. So I move the decimal 2 spaces. Which way? To the left, right? Multiplying by a decimal is actually dividing by 10. Interesting, right? Because multiplying by or dividing by a or multiplying by a fraction is actually dividing my whole number. That is interesting. Can't believe I put that together. Cool. So go ahead and finish pages 280 to 282. But before you leave, what I want you to do is pause a little bit. Which one of these answers would fit in here? So now if I am, now here is, we have negative integers here, right? And this is going to push you, right? 10 to the third means I'm moving my decimal point to the right. If I have a negative number, I move it to the left, right? So 1/10 is 10 to the negative 1. 1/100th is 10 to the negative 2. So tell me, 179 times what equals 179? 0.179. Figuring my decimal point is over here. What? I'm going to have to add a text box here because my answer is going to be 0.001. See how I did that? Because I had to move my decimal point over 3 spots because my decimal originally starts after the 9, and to get my answer, I had to move it over 3 spots. So I had to divide, or I have to multiply by a decimal that has 3 spots behind it. All right. So now let's take a look at 179, and we end up with 17,900. So what base 10 power of 10 am I using? This would be what as a power? 10 to the what? Negative third, right? We don't have a negative 3 here, so I didn't have a chance to do that, right? So I can just draw a line here. Oh, I don't want to draw a line there. What am I doing? What am I multiplying by 179 to get 17,900? Well, I'm adding 2 zeros to the end. Well, here's my 2 zeros. So I am going to multiply it by 10 squared, or 10 to the power of 2. How about 179 times what equals 179? My decimal point is right here. What direction am I moving it? So if I'm moving it to the left, I have a negative power of 10. If I'm moving it to the right, like I did over here, I have a positive power of 10. And it looks like I have a negative power of 10. And how many spots am I moving it over? Just one. So my answer is 10 to the negative 1. Great. All right. So now that you're done with pages 280 to 282, we talked about multiplying by powers of 10. Make sure that you complete your homework for today. Do a little workplace work and have fun with that. Your homework for today is student book pages 282 and home connections pages 144 and 145. If you have any questions, reach out to your teacher. If you don't, have a great day and enjoy math.